Well, greetings, printing enthusiasts. My name is Vicky Soma, and today is a Tuesday that is a prime number. So we are here with another episode of How Would You Slice That? If you're not familiar with the show, we typically try to combine community conversation time and learning about a member of the community with maybe some tips or tricks, often with slicers to help with your workflow a little bit. Today's episode might be a little bit different, but if time permits, we do have some tips or tricks to share. With me, as always, is Dr. Lawrence Nightingale. Hi,
Hello,
Lawrence.
Vicky. How's it going?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us again.
It's good. Well, it's good to be here. Always good to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what have you been up to?
Well, you know what? I have hired at the college that I work at, Nova. I've hired 3 new 3D printing technicians. They're work study students, and what that really means is that they get to have a job on campus, and that greatly reduces the commute time between classes. They get to contribute to the college in a personal way and in a productive way. And then also, research shows that students who do work study are much more likely to be successful and graduate and be retained and move forward with their college career.
Nice.
Yeah. And so the first one that started working about 2 weeks ago, she is like a automotive enthusiast. She likes, working on cars and modifying cars, and so she's really good with tools and things like that. And she's really, really taken on the role of doing design and production, which is the next level of what we're doing in our lab here at Nova. We're really trying to get into designing our own things and producing them. And then that grows even greater. I spoke with a business class last week about them designing and producing their own 3D printed original products. So I was a guest lecturer and a consultant for student designs on 3D products, talking to them about the feasibility of their ideas, talking to them about scalability and whether their ideas were particularly original and things like that. And that went really, really well. So we're getting into the point where what that's been a long time coming, which is the confluence of academics and 3D printing, using 3D printing in a way that students in college can really benefit from the technology. So things have been pretty busy. And then also the one significant thing about my first 3D printing tech that signed on a couple weeks ago is that she's also a Lego enthusiast. And so, when people start in with Lego and they start building their own things, that's kind of a tinkering mindset. Plus, she's got the car background. So I'm really excited about some of the things she's going to be able to do. And really she's going to be setting the pace for the others too that are going to be signing on later as well. So things are happening. Yeah, things are happening.
Wonderful.
Here at Nova around 3D printing, and we got back into one of our academic buildings that's been remodeled. And so even though sometimes the phrase location doesn't just apply to real estate, like the fact that the lab is now located in an academic building with its own space, the fact that I'm much more accessible and interacting with students kind of day to day, especially around 3D printing, has made a pretty huge difference. And so things are going pretty well.
That's good. And I do want to give a little plug. You were talking about research with work study students, but also Lawrence has done research on the effect of 3D printing on college students. And he even spoke on that at the first East Coast Rip Rap Festival, our 3D Printopia predecessor in 2018. And we can look up the link and share that. But Too Long Didn't Read, it boosted their self-esteem and made them heroes of the campus, correct?
Yes, very much so. Yeah, the students, what they were able to produce, not only were able to do things that they didn't think they would be able to do themselves, but also their friends, their family, their communities value them, not just for interpersonal reasons, but also for technical reasons. They had an ability through 3D printing to show people that they could do things that was uncommon and that really helped with their self-esteem tremendously. They changed the way they saw themselves. They changed the way they thought about things they thought that were possible for themselves, and they're much more likely to take on new challenges because of the methodology that we were using with 3D printing. It was a more of a rip-rap style at the time, but because of the kind of the science and motion of put together a theory, have a hypothesis, test a hypothesis, failure, success, move on. And that failure and success process is very intense with 3D printing. And because it produces physical objects that everybody can understand, success, failure, or midland, it really put them in position to kind of apply that methodology across a lot of different ways. And it led to them also being interested in things that they had not really originally allowed themselves to consider, different majors within different industries or different disciplines from what they started out with. They went from being comfortable with only familiar to being comfortable with trying things that were unfamiliar. And that's something that I have seen as a challenge in education. We want students to be able to not just take the classes and then move on, but we want them to take the classes, move on, and then challenge themselves and change and really kind of transform it from the person they came in as to that young professional, that young scholar that is starting on their career. And 3D printing has proven itself to be a huge tool in that.
I love that. It's like a gateway drug of, not gateway drug, but a gateway of getting acclimated to failure, acclimated
Yes.
to like trying new things. And
yes, absolutely. And it's different from what we do in academics because we don't really reward trying and failing, right? If you try and fail in biology class, you get an F for the lab. Or if you try and fail to do a different style in English or any other discipline, and it doesn't work out so great, you fail. So when it comes to academic work and the classes that you're paying for, it even through high school, failure is something that is not part of the process, right? It's much more part of the process to be told what to do, execute exactly that way so that you can get a good grade. But innovation doesn't come through doing the same stuff. And so the kind of the gateway to being able to experiment and explore and try and fail is something that, even though it makes sense that students would do it like on their own or in higher education, if you take a chance to do a different discipline, like let's say you came in being familiar with history or English, the chances of you taking a physics class or an engineering class just because you're interested or just because you have an idea about something that you want to try, if you fail at that, that stays on your transcripts and you paid for the class.
Oh,
So low stakes, high reward, physical results of experimentation and exploration is the kind of thing that 3D printing puts into the lives of students.
Nice. Well, thank you for being on the front lines and helping people find.
I'm glad I got the opportunity. I'm glad I got the opportunity. It's really it's been great to see students develop and do some really impressive things across the campus. So yeah.
Right. I know we've been talking a while, but I have a little bit of banter.
Please do tell us what's going on.
Recent episodes, I've been talking about trying to do 3D printed beads and incorporate that with crochet, and it was inspiring. I mean, the ultimate goal is a wedding next July, but with a interim goal of doing something for 3D Printopia. I've had some failures and I made some learning, but I'm at the point I still have stuff to do. But I'm at the point where it's going to be feasible.
Look at that.
It's going to work.
Wow.
So, I learned. One thing I learned, you take your measurements, right? And I took my measurements of my waist and measurements of my hips. And your hips, like with women, are the widest part. And I didn't think I didn't think about that. Like, I don't know. I just made it really wide, really fast. Because I didn't realize part of your hip measurements is your rear end, and your rear end isn't there yet. So I ended up making my hips like too big. But I was able to mitigate that by making the back smaller. And I guess that's kind of a good problem to have. Like, oh, my butt or I'm not as big as I think I am or whatnot. So hopefully, I'm hoping tomorrow night I can flesh out this border and I have to give straps and stuff like that. But it fits. it fits over my head.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it
That's
works.
great.
So I'm excited.
You should be. My daughter is, she just recently seriously got into beads recently. And I keep telling her that we can 3D print beads. We can 3D print beads. Come on, we should. But right now she's been enamored by Hobby Lobby, which is just fine and dandy. But making your own beads, I think that's like a next level thing. So we'll definitely have to get together and talk about your bead experience and see if I can't get her to design her own. That's another thing that happened too, is that my daughter's in middle school now, and she's taking one of these technology classes, and they're doing Onshape.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so she got the homework, and we did a little bit of the homework together. Well, she did the homework much faster on Onshape. She's got the Onshape kind of rhythm going very, very well. I do not, but but that's another thing that's happened that this week, 3D printing related, is Onshape. Learning Onshape and realizing that that is another suite of skills that I'll be able to use to 3D print things.
Or you can.
And I'm really hoping that she I'm hoping that she will move towards 3D printing some of her Onshape stuff too. She's not really a extra credit kind of person right now, but I'm hoping that between now and the time the class ends, that we'll be able to make something on the machine that she designs.
I want to jump in with a question. It's not about 3D Printopia, but they asked if I thought about thin patterns and tulle on one of those fancy textured build plates.
Oh,
I
yes.
did think about that. It was something I considered. It was something that I experimented with when we had Kaizen 3D on earlier this year.
Yes.
I was like trying out his techniques to learn them. I broke my sewing machine prepping for that episode, and I'm also not a sewer, so I felt like a little more comfortable with crochet. And also, it was something Kaizen 3D does the tulle and the fabric really well, and I didn't think I don't know. I feel like I hadn't seen the crochet technique before, so it's something I wanted to explore.
Right, and everybody contributes or uses the technology in a different kind of way. Yeah, Kaizen's really, I'm sure that he's got a couple years of experience under his belt with sewing techniques and things like that. And actually, I talked to him offline maybe about 3 months ago, and he talked to me a lot about how the fabrics come together, and there's a lot of things that you don't think of when you're 3D printing things to kind of begin to sew. The thickness that starts to develop when you start folding things over. The way that the fabric flows is so different, and it's something that really you have to be able to be acclimated to. So now you'll be able to contribute that same information using crochet,
and I'll know
which is good.
How to best measure my hips. I guess.
Well, you should have 3D printed yourself one of those mannequins that they use for shaping clothes, so you would have. You'd have known by then. Yeah.
To show the piece when I'm not wearing it.
Yes, yeah.
All right. Well, we promised people 3D Printopia, and so maybe we should get on to our virtual guest.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. I think it's a great idea.
Okay. I usually like to write an introduction. I didn't quite get to it today. I have some notes on my legal pad here.
Right.
If you're not familiar with 3D Printopia, it is a kind of akin to the Rocky Mountain Rip Rap Festival, which the organizer is in the chat right now. And we also are akin to like the Midwest Rip Rap Festival. We used to be called the East Coast Rip Rap Festival, but we wanted to make sure we weren't by any means trying to turn our back on Rip Rap, but we were just trying to be more inviting and let more people in to the 3D printing celebration. And so celebration is what we're trying to do, is just celebrate all things 3D printing. And Kumi. Yep. This is the
Hey, Justin.
Okay. So my favorite author is Kurt Vonnegut, and he's known for science fiction writing, but there's a lot of humanist kind of concepts that resonate with me. And two things that come to mind when I'm trying to think of introducing 3D Printopia. One, Kurt Vonnegut said that practicing an art, no matter how good or how poorly, is a way to feed your soul. And I
Wow.
do feel that, where if I'm practicing an art, I feel more energized. And so I like to think that 3D Printopia and Rocky Mountain Rip Rap Festival, all of our little festivals, are empowering people to like get inspired or to find the tools to help them make their soul grow, to help them express themselves.
Hmm.
Another Kurt Vonnegut quote, well, actually, it's not even a quote. It's just concepts that show up in a lot of the books, is that we as humans need other humans, just like we need minerals and vitamins. And so he often talks about the importance of extended families, even if it's a surrogate extended family, and communities. And so I think all of these Rip Rap festivals were trying to like just be a congregating point for these communities. And I know for me, coming back, it feels like home. It feels like seeing my family. It feels like a nice, happy reunion. So I think, 3D Printopia, like let's celebrate getting inspired and creating and feeding our souls, and celebrate community.
I agree with that. The fit for me, when you talk about the feeding of your soul and practicing an art, um, I think the thing that feeds my soul, if I were to use that concept, is just all the new and different ideas that kind of come out of 3D Printopia, and yeah, come out of 3D Printopia and maker fairs that we have in the region as well. Different ideas and the different things that you can do as a person without a whole heck of a lot of resources. It for me, 3D Printopia has always presented ideas that I could learn to stretch myself with and think to apply in my own practice and with students as well. Things that I've seen, things that I've seen include, like, one thing that fits that category is when I first saw when I first saw the slicer options that are out there, and all of a sudden I didn't realize at the time that Marlin wasn't the only way to process G code, and I saw a lot of different ways that people were using color. The first time I ever saw color switching was at 3D Printopia. I did get a kit. I haven't installed it yet, but practicing and seeing what your possibilities are what I think is really comes through for me. And so I definitely agree with that, and I thank you for putting it that way, as practicing an art to feed your soul. So
yeah, and we, even feeding your soul costs money, and so I think we owe a great debt of gratitude to a lot of the 3D printing companies and vendors out there that sponsor events like these. And
yeah,
actually, this is probably like one of your favorite parts, Lawrence, right?
yes,
The
very much
vendors.
so.
So this is our flyer, so you can see the logos of all our very generous sponsors. I don't know how do you want to comment on this, Lawrence? Do you want me to?
I think the things that are sticking out to me most are the Cocoa Press, which is just a huge to me, kind of changing the idea about around 3D printing. Like, for me, Cocoa Press represents an application of 3D printing that's universal. That can well, no, that's universal. I think universally, everybody likes chocolate. Now, there are people who do not like chocolate, but most of the time I don't hang out with them. So
I have a story about that.
yes,
We had a cake a couple years ago, and we had half chocolate, half vanilla. And I was cutting the cake, and someone came over and said, "Ellie, Ellie from Cocoa Press,
yes,
she wants some cake." And I'm like, "Oh, chocolate, of course, right?"
uh-huh.
No, vanilla. Ellie
What?
wanted vanilla cake.
Man, well, it's different with cake, but with chocolate, when you have a chocolate object versus a vanilla object, I'm
Yeah.
taking chocolate every time as a candy.
Yes,
Yeah.
and this year with Cocoa Press, I'm going to have a very different experience coming to their table, because usually I'm there with a longing, like one day I want to be
Yes.
one of those people with the chocolate printer. And now this year I could come in as a proud Cocoa Press owner.
Yes, yes, yes. And you've done really well with it. You got the double helix going, which
Yeah.
is really awesome. It's a great way to kind of represent science and art all together. Um, and you're learning and working with that, more and more every day. Yeah, absolutely.
So I
Um,
think, Lawrence, in past years, haven't you had trouble where you spend too much money at the show?
let's see here. Too much money. What? No, 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 no. I have I've gone, and known that I was going to not get in trouble, but I've gone and known that I was probably going to buy stuff for sure. For like I bought 2 3D printers at 3D Printopia, and each one of them has served me very, very well. The first time that I've run into some really interesting applications of 3D printing. Like I told you, the color switching technology that it was 3D Chameleon, which was before Prusa came out with their reliable MMU, before Bamboo came out with any of their multicolor printers. 3D Chameleon was there using G code in order to color switch, and that so that was something that I really appreciated. I didn't wind up using it because I got a couple of things were happening with my practice, but and then also the first time that I bought it was the 3D print the extruders that have the double wheels that pretty much are universal now that we're using on the rail cores, mini rail cores. Why am I blanking on the name of it?
Do you need a moment to reflect? Because
No,
there's
yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Okay. So there is a quick question about how I think BBL, which I'm assuming stands for Bamboo Labs, isn't on the list. There isn't a reason from our side. But I do want to point out that there'll be no shortage of seeing the capabilities of their printers at the event. There's exhibitors who would use Bamboo Lab tools. There is a 14-year-old exhibitor who was a guest a few episodes ago. And he's doing a table of all little miniatures that he's printed on a Bamboo Lab A1 Mini with a 0.2 millimeter nozzle. So even though they didn't choose to sponsor the event, or they're not a sponsor of the event, that they're going to be there. And I mean, not in any formal capacity, but their technologies are going to be there and on display.
Bond Tech. First time I bought a Bond Tech.
You got it. There we go.
Yes. Was that 3D Printopia. So yes, and then I remember when when I first saw some of the technology for recycling filament. That was really, really impressive to me. And then but another application that I've been very impressed by over the years, and I'm really, really glad that we wound up speaking with them and having them on the show, was HueForge. HueForge has been kind of a game changer for me. Like HueForge brings 3D printing from kind of like a mechanical type of experience, and brings it all the way forward to being able to really kind of control the machine and control light, control color, to express yourself in a way that wasn't available before. And so, those are HueForge and Cocoa Press. What I like about them is it kind of allows for I'm going to use the term human capacity to really understand and appreciate how it is that we produce 3D printed objects.
Yeah, and I have so many pictures and photos and everything up the wazoo over here. So
yes,
I do have a picture of HueForge. Yeah, this one I marked up because I like how he hung art on the pipe and stem. But my favorite HueForge story, I mean, not just one of my favorite HueForge moments is, a long time person in the maker community is Todd Blatt from We the Builders. He was our very first guest on How Would You Slice That way back in the day. And he's been around, and he makes some things, and he collaborates with Adam Savage. So like he's been around, and he was absolutely floored. And he was like, "Did you see that thing? Did you see the pizza?" Like he was floored by this, and that I think that's a testament to the game-changing capabilities of it.
Absolutely. Yes. 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 So yeah, the other things that I've seen there were not sponsors, but people that had tables. Um, I saw a 5-axis 3D printer that was a modified Prusa Mini, and I got that. The person who was doing it was a student, and he shared his um, his um, his GitHub repository with the parts, the 3D printed parts, the G code to make things like that happen.
Was it?
So
Do you know if it was the Magpie?
I don't know. It might. I don't know if it was Magpie or not.
Okay.
I don't recall what he called it, but that was 3 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. And so, just as a kind of testament that we're not turning our back on RepRap, you will see a lot of little RepRap machines there, including the one that comes to my mind is the Magpie.
Huh.
Which, if you have a moment, I can find a picture for sure.
Yeah, my one of the exciting things, one of the other exciting things that we're doing in the 3D printing lab is we're looking to make a 5-axis machine, and we're gonna retool one of our rail cores. We got a rail core XL that we want to see if we can't make into a 5-axis. So magpies are definitely not okay. So okay. Now this was
it was a little bit. It was there last year, but it's a different rendition. And
okay.
For those of you that are interested, I think it's West 3D. They have a great interview with this gentleman who is behind the Magpie, and it's from Rocky Mountain Rip Rap Festival.
Okay.
If we get a moment where Lawrence is talking, and
yes.
Looks like I can multi-process, I'll try to grab the link to throw into the chat.
And one other thing that it's funny that you mentioned that the first one that I went to was 2018. It seems like a lifetime ago, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also been very, very impressed with the fact that things have been changing as far as like the hardware that is kind of dominant, and the things that people are presenting on a broad terms. When I first went, there was somebody there that had a Delta that was probably about 6 feet tall, maybe taller, and that was impressive. There was a lot more kind of one-off machines that were there. There was a lot of people who were using Delta machines in particular. They had just kind of come out, and that was the dominant kind of that was the dominant delivery device that people were using. And then I remember it was probably 2019 or 2021 when Prusa Mini actually debuted at the East Coast Rip Rap Festival. Do you remember that?
Yes, there's their launch.
Yes, yeah, it was really that was pretty amazing. I remember talking with my students about the Prusa Mini and how I thought that was an excellent value, especially for the capability of the machine, how quiet it was, how efficient it was. That was really great. And then a year or two later, I really feel like what I saw going up and down the aisles is there were a lot of people who were using them moving to Core XY, and Rail Core was really the big one that was present with that. And there were and just slightly below the real, not below, but less popular than the Rail Core, people were building home built Core XYs, and they were starting to get kits around that as well. And now I think right now we will see a lot of multicolor, and seeing a lot of Prusa with the multi-material hardware, bamboo with the multicolor. I also remember when it used to be everything was 8-bit, right? And then I was really, really looking to find something that was 32-bit. And so that was when Duet was starting to come in. For about 5 or 6 years. Duet was the dominant, control board. If you wanted to do 32-bit, get it quieter, get it faster, have more capability, more than 5 motors and things like that. And so Duet is still very much in the mix of it, but almost everything that people are using nowadays is 32-bit boards. So it's been great to see the evolution of 3D printing at the 3D Printopia, and it's been really, really. I'm glad that I've been participating.
Uh, just if you didn't see it, Lawrence, someone in the chat saw a 17-foot Delta at New York Maker Faire in 2017 using a 4mm nozzle, not 0.4, 4.0 millimeter
Yes.
nozzle.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than wanting to build something that's 3 feet tall and waiting a week for it to be done. So yes. Voron is the one. Is Bob? You're right. Voron and Railcore were right there with each other as far as popularity is concerned. And Voron now is a platform that a lot of people are doing rep style to do multi-material. So yes, Voron is very much in the kind of in like I guess you might think of like a current application of 3D printing. Yes. And of course, I just saw, and it's interesting that you mentioned Voron. As 3D printing has grown, when I first started 3D printing, I would go to Micro Center, and they'd have just one aisle, one side of filament. And now you go to Micro Center, and it's like a whole section of the store. It's been growing. They're selling multiple manufacturers of 3D printing, 3D printers. And different manufacturers of filament. As a matter of fact, CookieCAD, the first time I really paid attention to CookieCAD was at 3D Printopia last year. And then I went to Micro Center and boom, there it was. That I could buy it in person, So 3D Printopia has been it's been something that, there's been plenty of great ideas that are there that I've been able to apply after, which has been really, really rewarding.
Nice. So transitioning a little bit from the sponsors, we could talk about some of the things, some of the activities that we can do at 3D Printopia. Do I have a schedule of events? I do. Hold on here. Okie dokie. So I'm going to share this momentarily. So we do have, this is kind of a peek of our schedule events. So on Saturday, the doors open to the public at 10 a.m. If you are an attendee, pro tip, go ahead and buy your tickets ahead of time on Eventbrite because that side of the line moves faster, the prepaid tickets.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, another quick heads up, you're welcome to bring your prints and your cosplay and stuff like that, but because we're in an arena at school, no weapons, no replicas of weapons are allowed for the attendees. So just be aware that you're going to be asked to leave that in the car if you're an attendee. We have a full set of speakers on the speaking stage. Maybe we'll talk a little more on that in a bit. But also the crowd favorites of the Death Racers are coming back. I think they're going to be doing an event in the loading docks on both Saturday and Sunday. The Dragsters are coming back. They're not on this schedule, but we will. They are confirmed to be back. There's like a large number of dragsters already signed up. And then, and I do want to give a shout out since he's in the chat. I do believe the Dragsters were a unique event that was designed for the Rocky Mountain Rip Rap Festival, and kind of its popularity spread. Then for the if you're not familiar with it, the Dragsters and the Death Racers both are radio controlled and have electronic components, are a little more in-depth builds. But we also have the 3D printed derby, which is very much like the Cub Scouts famous Pinewood Derby, just with 3D printed vehicles. And so for that, if someone's looking for a smaller scale project to take on, me and my son, we did our derby car in an afternoon this time around. It is a smaller project. It is like inviting to kids. And so they are going to have 3 different derby races. One is going to be our stock race, which is just plain the standard wheels that the Cub Scouts use for Pinewood Derby, and the standard wheels and axles. Just the only difference is your car is 3D printed, the car body, instead of the made out of wood. And then we have the creatively fast, which tends to be popular with our crew, which is your whole car is 3D printed, even your wheels. And then on Sunday, if you just want to watch, we have all the sponsors who you saw on the flyer just earlier ago. They have the opportunity to make a car and compete in a Sponsors Cup race.
Wow.
And then finally, you can design a car and it doesn't have to run down the tracks. Last year we had an episode with Dustin Dixon, and he had made a car to enter in the races and it didn't pass the technical checks. It was out of spec. And so he just entered it in this other contest, which is just a design contest. And so those cars will be on display both days, and any attendee comes in and they can vote on it. So
the 3D printed derby is really great, and I really like how creative the entrants are for the creatively fast, and also for the design competition. I really enjoyed the submissions that you've shared over the years too, Vicky.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, it's been really, really great to see how people are applying their ideas to cars. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
It's become the 3D printing derby has become kind of a time capsule of what my children are interested in. Because we started this back, the first one was in 2018, 7 years ago. So my youngest, and he probably wouldn't want his friends to know this, but my youngest, his car was Peppa Pig. It was Peppa Pig inspired. And so, as children grow, their interests grow. And so we've gone through, we've had Orville cars and Minecraft cars and Skyrim cars and Warhammer cars. And this year it's going to be Fortnite, which actually I do have a picture of that. We're still been working on that. And like I said before, it is a easy project to take on. There you go, her little Fortnite car with the loot llama.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
The loot llama.
Wow, and that just took an afternoon.
Yeah, and someone asked a question. I want to acknowledge it. I don't know the answer offhand. Will Shrunk 3D be back? I will find out the answer for you, Bob, and get back to you.
Oh, wow. And, also just to mention, Polymaker was really, really great, a great supporter of last year's 3D Printopia. I wound up picking up a role of ASA last year, and I think that they're probably more, I think that they not only contribute to sponsorship, but they really do make the event. The Polymakers, I think Polymaker is one of the more outstanding kind of community contributors, because I would never have considered using them because I'm not able to buy their stuff in person, and I wasn't terribly familiar with their products until last year's 3D Printopia. So just wanted to mention them as well, give them a quick shout out.
Yeah, I will echo that they are very community focused, and we're so grateful. I think last year they sponsored the 3D printed derby, they sponsored the dragsters, they sponsored the death racers too. So they had a whole trifecta. And then when they gave a speech on the Build platform, I think they're giving away filament vouchers there too. So they're just very generous.
Yes.
And I will have you know, Lawrence, that entire derby car, all of that, the Fortnite one, this one, all Polymaker filaments.
No kidding, really? Yeah. Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yep, that Fortnite blue.
That is great, man. I'm jealous. I want to drive that car now. So the speaker, there's speakers on 3D printing, and then there's the 3D printed derby. The death races are going to be back too.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh boy. All right.
Crowd
the dragsters were really a treat to watch. Those were I think it was like all the excitement of drag racing without any of the danger, because there were a lot of crashes. Mm-hmm. So if you want to see a few folks crash some stuff, I think that the dragster event is a great one for it. And then also I remember there was a really, really large robotic arm that was adjacent to the dragsters last year too.
Yeah. Let me quickly. I'll just share some Death Racer
Playing tug of war with
photos.
people.
Just
Oh, okay. Death Racers. There they are.
anybody's. Oh, I don't have the little. Oh, I can't just cycle through them. Okay. There we go. But then I also have photos of the robot arm too. So yeah. So if you're not familiar with, this is almost like Rock'em Sock'em.
Yes.
All of the little cars have little heads, and your goal is like to knock the head off of the other car, and that's going to it's like a kill switch. Then the vehicle is not going to run anymore. So they're just like running around, and just mayhem with those.
Great experience to see that. Yep.
Yeah, that's like my kids were way into it.
Yeah, I don't
All
blame
right.
them.
And then I took out, I ruined your nice little segue to Jeff, which have a picture somewhere. So Jeff, if you don't know, is from 3D Gloop. It is a hugely heavy, like measured in the tons, robotic arm. It stands for just enough physical force. So GEPHF. And in the early days of 3D Printopia, or well, when we were called East Coast Rip Rap Festival back then, 3D Gloop glued two pieces together and would have people do tug of war with it to show off the strength of their print. And then over the years, they've just now you're playing tug of war not against another person, but you're playing tug of war against a robotic arm, and you're not going to win. But what is going to win is the 3D Gloop. The pieces that are glued together are not going to break.
Absolutely.
Or at least I personally have never seen it break.
No, I haven't seen it break either. I think we would have definitely that would have made the channels of 3D printing for sure. That would have made 3D printer news. No, I haven't seen it break. And also, of course, 3D Gloop. They'll probably have something new this year, but they have their famous purple and white chair that's made up of many smaller parts. That they have used to showcase their technology. I have pictures of myself and also my daughter sitting on that chair. Yes, there you go.
I'm like a little slow on the picture.
That's all right.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Yeah.
But yeah, this is from I think 2 years ago. Someone taking on the Jeff. The Jeff, yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. So that the events are and the events and also of course showing off the technology are really great. We had there are all of course also many of the folks that have come through this show have also been I've also been 3D Printopia presenters and participants as well. Karen Chow was there last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Karen, oh man, I know where a picture of this is, but I'd have to go on the internet to get it. Karen did this thing that's very unique, and it's almost kind of like what Mitch Cerrone did, the backpack printer guy, which is you want to show off your work, but you don't want to be tied to a table. So, like Mitch, just made himself a backpack printer and multiple backpack printers at that now, where you can walk around and still show your work. Well, what Karen Chow's unique idea with that is she got a see-through backpack and just filled it with her handiwork. And then when she's walking around, you can still see her models and ask her about her models. And so it's kind of a roaming exhibit. She
definitely made an impression. My daughter really likes Karen Chow's designs.
Oh, good.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, yeah. And just talking about mounted 3D printers. I remember the first time I saw that in person, I was very impressed, mesmerized by the way that people were able to demonstrate the technology in 3D printing. So looking forward to seeing how people are going to do things differently or top themselves from last year. Also, there were a lot of maybe 2 years ago there were many people that figured out how to do embedded embedded swords or lightsabers that you sling the handle, and it comes out. I think that there were some folks that were selling lightsabers that extended to be about 6 or 7 feet long. Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah. Please. Yes. Yes. This is
No.
important.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I was getting queued up. You keep talking.
Yes. Okay. Well, yeah. The the lightsabers that extend to 6 or 7 feet long, and then of course there was definitely a large cosplay contingent, and then that came through a lot of folks that were showing us how they use, not only 3D printing but foam forming and things of that nature to make their cosplay outfits. And so that was really that's something to look forward to for 3D Printopia as well. And then yeah, go ahead, Vicky. You can tell us about this.
I was just looking how quickly the time is going by. So I do want to another activity that's happening is Polar 3D and Filament Stories are doing their filament exchange this year again. So you would come to your booths, you'd bring, if you have unwanted filament or filament that just didn't work for what you wanted to do with it, and it's just collecting dust, bring it to the event, bring it by their table. And what they'll do, they have a whole little weight mechanism where they'll give you tickets and you can exchange it for another filament and try something new, or, like maybe something that you don't want to spend money on, like low barrier of entry, I guess, just to swap it. You can also bring in unwanted spools that and not take other filament. You could just bring it in to donate, because what they do after the event is anything that's unclaimed, they go ahead and they donate to local maker spaces and schools and other organizations that can use it.
Yeah, the film exchange is a really, really great idea. I'm glad that has come into being. And who did you say?
It's Polar 3D and Filament Stories.
Okay, yeah. I'm glad that Polar 3D and Filament Stories have decided to bring that into 3D Printopia, because that is a great way to not only explore different filaments, but also to let go of projects that you've done before, because you're on to the next thing. And sometimes those really, really utilitarian filaments are that perfect color, that you use for one pop of color. Somebody else can use that for a project that they really really have their heart set on.
Oh,
so
yeah, for sure.
Yes, that's a really, really great thing.
Okay. The other thing, it looks like I don't have the flyer handy, but Maker Chip Mania, which was yet another thing that Polymaker sponsored last year, and they are sponsoring again this year. Maker Chip Mania is back, and so and I'm told to expect it to be bigger than ever. And on Discord, people are saying bring a minimum of 1,000 chips, which I'm not going to make. No. But you can go ahead as you're interacting with people and vendors and sponsors. If you're collecting chips, you can take them over to the Maker Chip Mania table and win some prizes.
Yes,
or you can get cool Maker chips. Were you
gonna say?
Okay.
I was going to say that the Maker Chip. I'm really glad that the Maker Chip entity or the Maker Chip idea has become part of How Would You Slice That, and also my 3D printing practice. I've used the Maker Chip idea in several different areas here at Nova. And what I really love about the Maker Chip is that it puts us in position to have like a standard format for creativity. Standard formats and creativity don't always go together, but boy, I've really enjoyed seeing what other people have made, and also thinking about the possibilities of my own Maker Chips and construction of those as well. The Maker Chips are just are really probably, I think that they're almost close to the idea of like, when Christmas time, thinking about gifts and presents. My daughter and I had a great time going through other ideas and other chips that other people had made last year for 3D Printopia. So the Maker Chip is a real highlight of the event. I didn't put a QR code on mine last year, just because I wasn't really keen on anything to promote necessarily. and I probably wouldn't do it again this year. Probably make another two-sided coin. But I really enjoyed seeing the maker chip and the idea that we all could make something that was elevated, but also quite simple, thanks to the maker chip. So the maker chip thing is going to be a really great thing for this year's 3D Printopia.
Absolutely. I think I heard someone say that there was a lot of people last year that this was their first 3D modeling project. So this was something that's inviting and allowing them to explore and maybe unlock a new passion.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So and I think that I think that the reason that people have been able to do that is because the idea is so simple, and you can do but it still has so many different possibilities attached to it. So I'm not surprised that people made it their first one. I mean, the K2 Kevin, does such a great job of explaining it and also putting it out there, how to, doing seminars sponsored by Polymaker about how to make them.
Oh yeah, on the Discord, sometimes they have maker chip workshops where you can come and get help with what you're doing.
Yes. So it's been, I mean, the maker chip is I think that'll probably dominate the idea of 3D Printopia for several more years to come. That one never seems to get old. And then also people are putting RFID chips inside them, plus or doing QR codes. So there's been so many different ways in which which maker chips can be kind of brought into the world. So I'm really glad we're able to talk about the maker chips for sure.
Yeah, and I do want to highlight, we have a first-time exhibitor at 3D Printopia this year, and it's such a delightful story. I believe he said his friend had to drag him to the event last year, and now he's designing and exhibiting this year. And one of the things that he's having at his table is a mix and match, where you can not only make a maker chip, you can kind of make your own maker chip at the event while supplies last. And then I think that these also are little tops, so you can spin them as well.
Whoa, next level.
Yeah, that's and great. He's going to have his own little maker chip game, but he is conscious and conscientious, where he doesn't want people to grab 2 maker chips from every vendor, like one for Maker Chip Mania and one for his thing. So he's just like, just get 1 chip. I'll give it back to you. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That's great. That's a great.
So this is a Prime Tower design.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, looking forward to seeing this in play. Yeah, I was picking up on the idea that it looks like it's a top. I'm wondering to myself how they work, so I can't wait to get there and see that.
Yeah, and I was just about to look it up on the map to tell you where he is at, but this would be a good chance to show everybody the map, which these are public, so they're also on our Discord and Facebook and X. So don't worry if it's fleeting and you can't see here. All right, let's zoom in a little bit. So, oh my gosh. Okay, so he is going to be on the upper concourse, Prime Tower Designs. So here's the entrance. And this registration, that's where you're going to see me. I work the registration desk. And Lawrence, I believe you're volunteering the opening shift on Saturday too, right?
Well, no, I actually have to work Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Sunday is.
We might have to double check that schedule. Yes. Okay. So yeah, you come in the registration, and then we have a whole bunch of event swag, and we have a number of educators, which Lawrence in his college used to be one of our educators that displayed.
Yes.
And then all our exhibitors, and this isn't even all of them. There's some on the floor, and there's some in the auxiliary hall, but we have all our little exhibitors. Where's the magpie that I was telling you about earlier is over here, ONV. Joey from Girari 3D, he is like right here. Oh my gosh, he's probably like one of the closest exhibitors to me over here.
Oh boy, okay. So,
yeah.
Wow. And of course there's the outside the
oh yeah. So
outside.
Dragsters, the Death Racers,
Mhm.
and Jeff, the 3D Gloop robot. They're all outside in the loading dock. I think most everybody has heard, but this is a 3D Printopia's last year at the APG Federal Credit Union Arena, which is, like kind of bittersweet because
Yeah.
they've really taken great care of us. And, when we were in 2018, we were very new at
Yeah.
event planning in this, and they took us under the wing and just were so very good to us. But it was kind of inevitable. Like we've been outgrowing them, and the credit to them, they've been so creative with how to like move things around and
Yes.
to help us fit in more people to have us last there as long as we have.
Yeah.
But we are moving to Philadelphia next year, and everything is going to be inside. We have the
Wow.
space for everything inside. So
Wow.
last year, there are some iffy moments where we were worried about rain and the weather and the
Yes.
dragsters. And I think it's
Yeah.
something that poor Rocky Mountain Rip Rap Festival has had to deal with too, like sometimes snow.
Right.
So that's one perk is when we're in Philadelphia, like everything's inside. It doesn't matter what the weather is. We'll still be able to do dragsters and death racers and all that.
Wonderful. That's going to be great. But this year, looking forward to this year. One last hurrah, which is really really super exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every year when we leave on Sunday night, everybody packs up. And when the final sponsor and exhibitor leaves, it's usually dark out and it, has that crisp weather
Yeah.
outside. Maybe you hear some little insects. And I usually take a picture of the arena all lit up. And I think it's going to be emotional this time because
Boy.
coming through that interest in the smell of it, it's been a nice little home.
You've done a great job with standing it up and making it run for sure, and they've been a great partner with it. And I can definitely see. I am a little bit sentimental about the location too. I personally, we got one question, but I'll say I personally am a little bit jealous that we weren't able to do it at Nova. But you can't have everything you want.
Northern Virginia, yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there's people have made excellent cases about Hampton, Virginia. Someone was vying for Baltimore, and so there was a lot of possibilities.
Well, Philadelphia is a great spot, and then RC Maniac is asking about next year's venue. But if we got time, maybe we can get to that.
Can I say anything about next year's venue? Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up because there's two convention centers in Philadelphia. Ours is the one in downtown. I think it's the Pennsylvania Convention Center. But yeah, I know. I'll get to one of the board members was recently in Philadelphia, so he sent a picture of our new venue. But it's 3D Printopia week, so we've been talking a while.
Yeah.
All right, we will loop back to that, I think.
Yes, because we have plenty of 3D Printopia to experience before then.
Yes. So I have the I'm all over the place. There we go. Oh, well, we don't need to be doing that. Hold on. I was doing, there we go. This is the auxiliary hall. We are working on, just like last year, we're back to current 3D Printopia in Maryland. So just like last year, we do have some activities going on in the auxiliary hall. We've worked on our signage to try to make that flow a little bit easier for people. And we've kind of reorganized the Build Platform speaking stage. And yeah, we have the Derby is going to be in the auxiliary hall. A number of exhibitors, Macrobot, which is usually very popular with kids. Mm-hmm. Also, Enable, who make the prosthetics.
Yes.
They've been very consistent with supporting our event and being here, so they're in there as well.
Wonderful. Well, that's I Enable has been that's another organization that had really, I first ran into the Enable project for the DC Maker Faire, and that was like 2016. So they've been around almost as long as people have been desktop 3D printing, more or less. I mean, because I started 3D printing 10 years ago, and that was the first Maker Faire that I went to and I saw them.
I'm going to hop back
Okay.
to answer the question. It's the Pennsylvania Convention Center in Philadelphia with 63,000 square feet to showcase even more 3D printing goodness.
Wow. Staggering. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to this year. Next year we can worry about that once I get home on Sunday and my tired feet can rest from walking around so much.
While we're on the auxiliary hall, should I share the speaking schedule?
Yes, please.
Right, we will start with Saturday. And some of these speakers, just like a Polymaker last year gave vouchers to people who came to speak. So I know at least 2 speakers are giving you, you can win prizes when you come up there. All right, so our opening speaker is the organizer from the Japan Rip Rap Festival, which,
wow.
If you haven't seen any coverage of that, just search Jerf and Makerchip, because
wow.
like their Makerchip game is next level. It's so
Wow.
impressive. But he's actually coming into the event and he'll be our opening speaker. So it's going to be great. I know we had Josh Taylor from Recreator 3D on an earlier episode of How Would You Slice That? He's also speaking. And
wonderful.
In his speech, a lucky member of the audience will win, I think it's his fun kit. So they'll get a fun size kit of the Recreator, which if you're not familiar and you don't have time to go back and watch that episode, it's a kind of an open source DIY pultrusion system where you can turn old soda bottles into filament that you can print. And he is also a sponsor. He'll be on the main floor and you can see examples of what can be printed and examples of the pultrusion system at work. The Recreator 3D is what he calls it. He's also bringing in some personalities. One's flying in from overseas, and he also is the 3D printing professor who is going to come and be at his table as well.
Oh, that's going to be great.
Yeah. Okay, and then our keynote speaker, probably everyone here has heard of the YouTube channel, The 3D Printing Nerd, which you are on screen. You have Joel Telling, but the executive producer is David Tobin, and he is going to be our keynote speaker this year. He is talking, his theme is We Can Print Anything, and he has a couple initiatives to share. One, he has a community manufacturing initiative where they're trying to combine Prusa Core 1 farms with schools and makerspaces that need it. I'm mangling that. I had it much more articulate on Facebook. But here's the other thing that he's doing is he is launching a 3D printed shoe model. And so that, like, the reveal is at 3D Printopia, kind of like what we were talking about with the Prusa Mini getting revealed at 3D Printopia. So the reveal will be at 3D Printopia during his speech, and he's giving away 2 pairs of those shoes during his speech.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
Okay. West 3D always does a good job with panels. So this time they're going to be talking about a business panel, which is always like a hot topic where people are always like, I have this hobby, like, how do I make money with it and whatnot?
Yeah.
And then I know we're like focused on additive manufacturing, but we also have Lightburn, and they're going to talk about how you can complement that with subtractive manufacturing with the laser engraving and whatnot.
Very timely, very timely.
Yeah, and last year this was really popular. The Mid-Atlantic Droid Builders panel was there, and they're just talking about their processes and their tricks and how they make their things going. And then,
those guys show up to Northern Virginia. I was at the Nova Maker Fair a year and a half ago. they were there with their droids.
Mhm.
So they definitely like to get on the road and go to the rep rap festivals. That's going to be a treat. That one's going to be a treat.
Yes. And then finally, at the end of the day on Saturday, we have a 3D Fuel talking about I say Pet G. Do you say PETG killer?
I say Pet G.
Pet G, the Pet G killer, or the PETG killer, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And
I would
then,
be interested in seeing what they have to say, what their position is on how their product is better than how their product is better than Pet G, what they're recommending, and some of the things they're trying to solve. I mean, I think when we're talking about Pet G, stringing is a big problem, and smoothness is a big problem too, speeds. So I'd be really interested to see what they have to say. Are these going to be recorded, and can we consume them?
Yeah, they usually are recorded. I think sometimes they're live streamed, but they will definitely be on our 3D Printopia build platform YouTube channel.
Okay, great.
Yep.
I will. I like I said, I have to work Saturday, so.
I
love to go ahead and pick it up while I'm here. That's going to be great. I can participate, and fulfill my responsibilities. So it'll be great.
I forgot to mention we have like a MC, a new MC this year, which is a surprise. We were going to try to go without an MC this year, but sometimes there's some offers you can't refuse. And
yes, most certainly.
This year, none other than Joel Telling will be doing our announcements, and yeah.
Wow,
it's going to be our MC.
Great.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big score.
A very recognizable voice.
Wonderful.
Okay, and then if you're not tired of speeches yet, we have on Sunday, and this one's marked up. You can see where I marked it up. But so Polymaker is doing a presentation at 11:30. I haven't heard anything, but I'm just saying last year they gave away filament vouchers to the people who came.
Yes.
And then this is a really good, we were talking about CookieCAD. CookieCAD is using their time with a panel about doing 3D printing for good. And so they're going to talk about the Sanjay Mortimer Foundation. They're going to have a representative from the Sanjay Mortimer Foundation and Make Good, who was recently in a Joel Telling video highlighted, and then also with CookieCAD. So that will be at 12:30 on Sunday. And then Diamondback Nozzles is doing something at 1:30. I don't know the details of that yet. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's great, though. We got the schedule. We know who's going to be there. And that's really.
Oh, I should have zoomed in. There you go.
I've been, yeah, well, the nozzle thing, the concept of nozzles and augmenting nozzles with already existing printers. I've been thinking a lot about that. I personally have been, I don't have a single 0.2 millimeter nozzle that is not currently clogged.
Oh, really?
Yes. I mean, a little bit of glitter goes a long way when it comes to 0.2 millimeter nozzles. And I've definitely learned the hard way that you don't want, the hot ends that I've got that are 0.2, you don't want to put glitter through them. You don't want to put anything sparkling through them. So be interested to see what some of the manufacturers have to say about that particular series of problems anyhow. Yeah. Wow. Well, that's a great lineup. Was there what more content do we want people to know about?
I'm looking through my Word document just to make sure that we're very light on exhibitor. I mean, with our content, I think we have more exhibitors than we've ever had this year.
Oh, that's great.
We're very light on our content here in this stream. So let's talk about some exhibitors if you have the time for it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So this year we're doing something a little new on Facebook and Instagram. We've been making like little exhibitor highlights. So just been making little framed kind of branded highlighting, which actually our episode last time with Tech Cheaper was helpful with this because we used some AI to help build the frame and make, like it made an HTML CSS frame for it. Mm-hmm. And then we have Node.js code that is filling in all the images.
Wow.
So can I cycle through these? Yes, if I lean over here on an arrow. So this is 3D Medic Events, which you may, if you've been to our events, you probably have seen him because
Yes.
this is going to be his 5th year exhibiting with
Wow.
us at the APG FCU Arena. And so if you don't know him, he is a fireman paramedic, firefighter paramedic. And so a lot of his work is like what we just saw before. It's kind of celebrating first responders. He has first responder spinners, and he has these great litho paints as well.
Yes.
So then we have, oh, well, this is highlighting the event, which we already talked about, which is a 3D printing derby.
Yes. Yeah. Big excitement.
There you go. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. We have a couple things here. So this is a dummy 13 model, right? Bearded Printer is bringing one that is 13,000% scale. So it's like life size. And another way you can tell that it's life size is, look, there's Hedamami headphones on it.
Yes.
So he's bringing that. And not only is he going to be there, but well, as you know, like Dummy 13 is no stranger to our events. Like you can see him at anywhere, right? Even Polymaker last year did a live interview with Dummy 13. That was part of their build platform speech.
Yes,
right?
I remember that.
But this year, we also have the 3D modeler behind Dummy 13. He is a first-time exhibitor. He's going to have a table with us. So,
that's exciting. That's great. That's great.
Yeah. So you'll see him a little later, maybe. Oh, and not only that, the guy who at the Dummy 13, the Lucky 13 Toys table, he has another big Dummy 13, and he calls it a doodle dummy. And he's going to have attendees color it and decorate it throughout the show. So
that's going to be great. Wow.
And this is our keynote speaker. And well, you can see my overthinking. Like, do we want just David Tobin, or do we want David Tobin, executive producer at 3D Printing Nerd? Death Racers, we talked about. Oh, okay. So STL Denise, I think we had her on the show a year ago. Yeah, she's back.
Great.
And, so this is her Vibrobots or brush bots. Vibrobots from last year. They're little dinosaurs. She's going to have the dinosaurs again this year, but also football players. And so they're going to be they made a stadium, so they're going to be playing football. And she's got a 3-foot tall radio controlled quarterback to complement the football players that are going to be playing. And she will also have Flexi toys as giveaway for kids while supplies last.
Wonderful.
All right. And that's a Nemo, which we already talked about. All right. This is amazing. And we need to get this guy on the show one day too. He's going to do live demos of electroplaning 3D prints. And so if you haven't seen his process, it's absolutely amazing. And he makes really beautiful pieces. It's hard to pick which one to share because he has like a stunning C3PO. And he just has so much phenomenal work.
Wow.
And he was in the chat earlier, but we have Girari 3D. And so what he brings that's unique to the show is these functional prints that also elevate your home decor. So he has a modular drawer system that you can mix and match and do faceplates for and just really just elevate your space.
Yes.
My mom's favorite table last year.
Really?
Yeah. And Joshua Taylor with the Recreator 3D, who's speaking on Saturday. So this is, I'm going to swap this out with the Doodle dummy, but the designer of the Dummy 13 is going to be there. We've got our Maker Chip Mania, of course. This gentleman, Martin Roberts, he's making 3D printed furniture, and he's also going to have pieces for sale at the show too.
That sounds exciting.
This is one of our frequent exhibitors, Metalhead Printing. And he's just finished up this armor. He had finished up a really neat Pokemon, and I commented on it, and it turned out it already sold. So it's not going to be at the show, but the armor will be at the show.
That's going to be great.
Yeah. That's Denise.
STL Denise, hello.
Yeah.
Yes, good to see her again.
And this is just highlighting because we have our educators. We have our educators. So this is Terrapin Works, who has not just 3D printing, but other manufacturing services for the local community to the University of Maryland. And this is the Magpie, which we talked about a little bit earlier.
Yes.
So, oh, Lawrence, this is your booth. This is totally going to be your booth. You're going to eat this one up. This is last year.
Wow.
Last year, this gentleman took, sometimes we have, every year we sell out of exhibitor tables, and then we have some people who don't show up. And this gentleman took over one of those no-show tables with just some of his old 3D printers, and it generated so much interest that he's back with a double booth, and it's just almost like a museum of printers.
Yes, he definitely has it in motion.
He went to Hawaii recently, and he got an old printer to bring home. It fit in his carry-on, so he's still collecting them. But it's not just showing the old printers. He's also providing services with firmware updates, and we have a lot more knowledge now than we did then. So he's kind of giving these printers a second life and reducing electronic waste.
Yes, that is a great thing. I definitely that's one of my top 5 for sure. Because the hardware, many instances the hardware is very, very durable, very reliable, but it was missing automatic leveling or missing, it was very noisy, the vibrations. So this is going to be great. Yes.
Yeah, and he's been printing his maker chips on these old printers too.
Wow. Okay.
I think I already showed this one, right? This is Jeff with Tug of War. This is another educator. This is the Virtual Curation Lab at VCU, which is the Virginia Commonwealth University. Yeah. They have multiple 3D scanners, and they travel all over the world, and they're scanning. They're making a digital archive of different artifacts, and it could be paleontology, it could be historic. The one thing that enamored me last year was they have a scan of the world's oldest ham, which, fun fact, is in Virginia, because Virginia, it's in Smithfield, Virginia.
Wow.
There's a museum with the world's oldest ham. So
I've been looking for an excuse to go to Smithfield.
Scanned it and documented it. And not only that, I think he turned the ham into a derby cart last year too. Because anything can be a derby car.
You got that right.
Yeah. So these are, ones that have done and posted, but we have more exhibitors that we hope to highlight in the coming days. So keep an eye out on our Instagram and our Facebook page for that. And I think, I thought I already had a picture downloaded, but the gentleman who had the amazing cloud castle, Zach, is coming back too.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Well, anyways, here it is. I found the picture. There's no shortage of things to see and to be enamored at. And I look through, we have a great photographer, David Wheeler, Dave of Things. We have a great photographer, and I look through his photos, and there's so much that I miss, that gets captured because there's so much. But this thing is a cloud top tavern, and you can see over here it took 3,268 hours, which is 135 days to print, and I think it was 296 parts. I saw in an interview with him, I think it was at Rocky Mount Riprap Festival, out of those 296 parts, he only had 4 failures.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have 2,000 hours on my printer, and I've had it for a year.
I want to comment on something real quick. Hey Bob, Dave of Things, Dave Wheeler, our photographer, he was indeed feeling under the weather. We did hear from him today that he has turned a corner. He's feeling better.
Good.
All right. Oh gosh, no. Now I'm looking at the time.
Well, time, it's I mean, it's great. I mean, it's just a testament to how much is going to be at the Rep Festival, the history, the inspiration, the practice and the craft, like we spoke about, some innovative things that we're going to see for sure. So yeah, it's going to be a great time. Going to be a great time. So I'm glad we could go over time on talking about this for sure.
Yeah. And I should also give a shout out to Liz, who is taking over 2 booths. So she'll be with Maker Chip, and also Zombie Hedgehog Mix will be having a booth right next to them.
Excellent. We're looking forward to seeing you, Pez Liz. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. Is there any questions that I missed or anything that you want me to speak on?
No, I think you covered it.
All right, great. Well, let's see here. I want to thank everybody for being a part of this community. Even if you can't make it to 3D Printopia, and maybe you're closer to Rocky Mountain Rip Rap Festival, or maybe you're closer to Murph or whatnot, I hope wherever you're at, you find that event and those people that help inspire you and help make you feel creative and help you nourish your soul. As for tonight, I thank you for coming along and hanging out with us. And yeah, I'm feeling the excitement that I leave in 2 days to head that way, and we'll be setting up on Friday and hopefully do a great show for you. Give the EPG FCU Arena a really formidable send-off, and to thank them for the things. If you haven't yet, go ahead and get your tickets. That's at 3dprintopia.com. And if you come through the registration, and I might be busy, but say hi, and be great to see you. With the stream, so we stream live every Tuesday. That is a prime number. The next one is going to be on the 7th of October. So we should be recovered by then. So it'll be Tuesday, October 7th. We're going to be joined by Luis Garcia, who is doing some amazing real life characters that are painted and gorgeous and just completely seamless.
Wonderful. Looking forward to that. And looking forward to 3D Printopia. We'll see you there.
Yeah, for those of you who are coming, I'll see you soon. And for you not, we'll see you on October 7th.
On October 7th.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye. Take it easy.